All right, great. Okay, so thank you all for joining us today. This is our November 2024 Lunch and Learn. We are doing these Lunch and Learns every month, usually about the second or third Wednesday at lunchtime. So thank you all for joining us. First, I want to go ahead and introduce Cody Eden. He is our new FAFSA coordinator, and we're super excited to have him on board. He has been here for about 2 weeks, and he's already jumped right in and taking the reins of FAFSA, everything FAFSA at the department. So Cody, if you want to introduce yourself real quick and then we'll get started.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. I'm very excited for the new role to continue supporting students and families, stakeholders, counselors, the works. So thank you all for being here, and we will go ahead and get started.
Do I need to give you access, Cody? Oh, you got it? Okay, great.
All right. So sorry for that brief delay. Can everyone see this screen here? Am I coming through okay?
Looks
All
good,
right.
Cody.
Excellent. We'll dive in. So again, we are here. This portion is going to be a quick FAFSA CASFA update. Lots of info coming at you. I, again, am Cody Eden. We will have Sophie Vogel joining us for this portion as well. Quick agenda today. We will review, yay, FAFSA's open. 25-26 cycle is ready to go as of November 21. So we will talk some changes and updates there. We'll definitely review some support, which is absolutely available and very helpful. The financial aid completion portal is in the works. I know a lot of people are anxiously awaiting for their access. So we're almost there and we have an update there. You also may have read the INCAN and/or President's Alliance communication lately regarding some very important topics. So we will hit on that as well as a brief CASFA update at the end. So ready, set, go. Again, we did have the 25-26 form launch a little bit earlier than scheduled, which is awesome. That means beta testing went well, and we are very appreciative of anybody who was a part of beta testing or anybody who has submitted feedback in the past. Before I dive into those results, I want to circle back up and say happy FAFSA week of action to everyone. That's something the education department has put out this week, the 9th through the 13th. So if you are in your chair at this event, you are doing the right thing to educate yourself on FAFSA/CASFA and promote it accordingly in your school and or role. So based on some of that feedback, a couple highlights I want to hit for you all. There was some confusion last year, a pain point with the double negative question around direct unsubsidized loans. Great change this year to the form is that it does default to a no response, as I'm sure you've seen. Students often will go with that, which is great. If they decide to change that to yes, there is an additional screen that will pop up and say, are you sure this is what this means if you select yes to this question? So we're hoping that cleans up a little bit of that process to start the form. There has also been an addition of a screen that pops up confirming that the IRS data has been migrated over. So that is also helpful to make sure parents get that confirmation as they're filling out the form. Some other slight language changes, but mostly will be the same flow as the 2024 FAFSA. So that's great news for parents and families as well. One note on the aid years I want to mention is the 24-25 versus 25-26. So these FAFSAs are going to be different, of course. If you're working with a current senior looking to go next fall, we are looking at the 25-26 FAFSA. We have always seen folks fill out the prior year FAFSA, so just be careful with your students, and students' parents, be careful as you're taking a look that if you are a current senior, you're looking at that 25-26 form. Another quick note, studentaid.gov account versus FSA ID account. That is a bit of a trick for you. Those are the same thing. So you probably have heard the FSA ID language. You will start to hear more and more of the studentaid.gov language. Same thing, but just a note there as we continue with the presentation. I'm getting used to it myself. Another big update is that the ID verification waiver has been extended for the 25-26 cycle. This is when contributors without a social security number are creating their FSA ID / studentaid.gov account. They will continue to do the attestation and the validation of ID step in that account creation process. That's just the box they check that confirms, no, I do not have a social security number. In the past, there was an ID verification email that parents then needed to submit documentation to. Because this waiver has been extended, that email is currently disabled, so no worries there. Do keep in mind, though, institution-based verification practices will continue, so post-submission, you still may hear from your institution. Now on to some support that's available. I told you there was a lot. So the first thing to hit is this contact center hours. We have them highlighted there as the Federal Student Aid Info Center is adding FAFSA specific support. So do take advantage. The link and number are there, but the bold will denote that, hey, on Monday, things shut down at 7. Actually, they're going to extend that out for FAFSA specific support for you. We also have some FAFSA CASFA toolkits will hit, the prototype if you haven't seen it, a wizard to determine your parent or contributor, a FSA ID support link, and I also encourage students and parents, educators, jump on social media platforms, follow, like, subscribe. All of those communication channels are great to stay in the know, and the more you know, the better. The FAFSA CASFA toolkits are here. We do have it available in English and Spanish. So go ahead and take that QR code and/or take down the link. Slides will be available, so don't stress if I'm pushing through too quickly on this. The prototype. So this is something that is super helpful. Maybe you have created your FSA ID / studentaid.gov account and you're waiting for that to process. It does take a couple days to process and send back to you. This is a perfect tool to then use to get a preview of what you're going to be looking at when you complete the FAFSA. So this is a very helpful tool this year. The access code is below, so make sure you note that. The parent contributor wizard is another great tool. If you're in a mixed family, if you have special circumstances in that regard, use this, take a look. It will help you identify, okay, which parent and/or contributor do I need on my form? It's super helpful, again, for those mixed families, but anyone should take a look for sure. And again, that FSA ID / studentaid.gov account creation is going to be the first step for you and contributors, for students and contributors. There's a great YouTube resource from the federal side that this video is great, but really go ahead and subscribe to that. I do the same. They post a lot of great updates and resources available to all. So take a look at this video, but also explore what else they have to offer. Shifting gears now to another resource, the CDHE Financial Aid Completion Portal. So some folks may know this formerly as the FAFSA Completion Portal. We are revamping the platform. We're going to be adding CASFA data as well. We understand this has been a bit of a process and accounts are currently inactive. So thank you for your patience as we get things back up and running. This slide is important if you are one of those people waiting for access. So if you're not familiar, this is a Colorado-specific tool. It's free to use, but we do need to get your district and/or schools signed up to do so. But it allows you to track FAFSA CASFA submission status and further support your students for those post-secondary steps. So action step is you should soon be hearing from myself regarding your data share agreement. Now, this is going to go to your school and or district leadership. If you have a current DSA signed, it would be to those people who are currently on it, simply to verify, hey, are these points of contact still accurate? Reply back, yep, we're all good. We'll go ahead and get access back for you all so you can start accessing that tool again. If for some reason you're like, what is this? And you're not sure, but interested, please shoot me an email at that fasfa.dhe.state.co.us email, and we will make sure to connect the dots for you in getting that DSA signed with your district leadership so that you have access to this information. There is a current link of what it looks like now. Again, we are revamping, so this should be continually changing, but exciting stuff in the near future for you all. With this, I believe we will transfer to Sophie for some more chat on the communications coming out from NCAN and President's Alliance.
Awesome. Thank you, Cody. That is a terrific first presentation in your new FAFSA role. So I just shared in the chat the information from NCAN. NCAN is National College Attainment Network. And so this is very new information, just came out at the end of last month. You can read the whole statement. However, the statement from NCAN says we cannot assure mixed status students and families that data submitted to the U.S. Department of Education as part of the FAFSA process will continue to be protected. So that is a pretty concerning statement. And there has been a lot of, let's say, additional conversation about that. So I want to provide more details. I put the second link in the chat. President's Alliance on Higher Education and Immigration updated a guide the following day that detailed. So there are currently no agreements in place allowing the Department of Homeland Security to use information collected as part of the FAFSA for the purposes of immigration enforcement. So the President's Alliance said they will publish and keep up to date a summary of authorized data sharing. So if there in the future is any authorized data sharing with DHS that does allow the use of data for immigration enforcement, President's Alliance will let us know. Additionally, the President's Alliance pointed out that the paper FAFSA does not require that contributors submit identifying documents to validate their identity. So that is just an important piece to consider. So the general conversation is, how do you support a student whose contributors don't have a social security number? And at this point, the information that we are providing is help your students and families be informed so they can make the best decision for themselves. NCAN suggested that students who are current college students whose contributors have already created an FSA ID or a studentaid.gov account, those students can probably continue to submit their FAFSAs because the information is already there, so there's no additional risk. NCAN is pointing out there could potentially be additional risk for contributors who do not have social security numbers if they are creating an FSA ID or a studentaid.gov account for the first time. So the point is, please share the information and work with your students whose contributors don't have a social security number to figure out how do they want to address these challenges, noting that there are many and that it's very complex. Please also know CDHE will continue to monitor this process and keep you all updated. So we appreciate all of your patience with that. Cody, next slide, please. Thanks. Also, I want to talk about the 25-26 CASFA because my name is Sophie Vogel and I'm the CASFA coordinator. We were hoping to launch December 1st, 2024. However, our launch date is expected this month. It has not launched yet. So hopefully it should be this week of December 9th, but it's more likely to be next week of December 16th. We will send out an email campaign when the new form launches. Students can continue to monitor the CASFA portal and the CDHE website for updates. And thank you again for your patience. So again, the 25-26 CASFA has not launched yet. However, we think it'll be very soon. Next slide, please. Great. I want to share some information about upcoming events. CDHE is hosting some more lunch and learns in 2025. They will be January 15th, February 19th, and March 12th. Our website doesn't have them up quite yet, but it will soon, and then you can go in there and register. Additionally, we have educator financial aid trainings that are scheduled. Our first one will be at Ames on the 13th of February, and our second one will be at Adams on the 28th of February. You're welcome to use our website or our QR code. And then also, do you need our help, the CDHE outreach team? We have a request form. You can find it on our website or at this QR code. And right, of course, we're putting them in the chat as well. One important tip, please remember to say FAFSA, CASFA, or financial aid so that you are including everyone in the conversation. There's some additional communications. So there's Cody's email and the FAFSA email and my email and the CASFA email. So you're welcome to reach out to us anytime. And we're going to continue with the rest of our Lunch and Learn.
Awesome. Thank you, Sophie. I think I have the next piece. So I wanted to just give you a few updates on our post-secondary options programs, which entails Empower Ed, Foster Ed, and the ETV, or Education and Training Voucher. The Empower Ed applications for 24-25 school year for the spring semester need to be completed by February 14th. And just to let you know, when students do fill out the application, they only need to do it once. It's not per semester. The option for fall is, of course, closed because fall session has already, well, they're still in school, but it's fall session application has closed. So yes, one time per year. And then the Empower Ed and ETV applications will be open March 1st of next year for the 25-26 school year. And again, the students will only need to apply once per year. And we are going to go ahead and go right into any, some of you have filled out questions in the registration form. So we wanted to address those questions. And Jennifer, I believe you have the first one.
I do. I'll share the questions.
Great, thank you.
Yeah. Are you seeing the questions?
Yep, maybe make it a little bigger, but yes.
Okay.
If you can.
Great. I know I can somewhere here. Better?
Better, yes.
Okay. No problem. Sorry. Hi, I'm Jennifer, Outreach Navigator for the Colorado Department of Higher Education. And our first question is what to do if a student has a parent who is unwilling to fill out the FAFSA, or divorced parent who is unwilling to share the new spouse's information, which that is definitely an unfortunate circumstance, because if a dependent student does not have their parent information on the FAFSA, they will be ineligible for financial aid, so Pell Grant, even things like work study or subsidized loans even. So that would be very unfortunate. I would explain to the contributors that it is imperative that they contribute to their dependent students' FAFSA, and that especially in a case with like a step parent who has not legally adopted the student, they will only be identified as a parent's spouse. And of course, they're not required to contribute to the student's education. So I hope that helps out. Cody?
All right, I've got number 2 there. So there was just kind of a general question about some frequent errors, what we should expect. So based on some of our recent field work, we are seeing that in a situation where parents are married, filing jointly as contributors, ideally there should only be one contributor that is completing things in that case, but we are seeing that even after that first contributor goes through the process, they're getting a strange error. So we have found a workaround where go ahead and get that second parent or contributor in on the form to sign, even though it's not supposed to be that way. We are seeing this hit or miss. So some families are having success going ahead and submitting with one, others get the strange error. So just a note on that if you run into that issue, to go ahead and create that second FSA ID/studentaid.gov account and sign that with the second contributor. I mentioned this earlier too, that completing last year's form is very much a thing. Don't panic if you do it, but definitely go ahead and advise for a current senior the 25-26 FAFSA form. And then just matching information in general. This is a historically common issue where if the parent/contributor, even something as their address, if they put street and spell it out, and the student uses the abbreviation ST, that can be a mismatch of information and need to be corrected. So the advisement there is on a parent or contributor's account to take a picture of that home, the general info with address, name, all those details, so that a student can directly match that up when they're completing it and vice versa. So just be very careful with that matching info.
Great, thanks. So I have the next question, which is for CASFA, what disqualifies a student from applying? For example, visa status or citizenship, etc. So any student who isn't eligible for federal student aid can apply, can submit a CASFA, right? So there actually, there isn't a disqualification for a student from applying. But students who aren't eligible for Colorado Asset won't receive the Colorado Student Grant, even if they demonstrate financial need via the CASFA. So that includes students who have valid visas. So that can be a challenging thing. I highly recommend students reach out to their institutions of higher education to learn about Colorado Asset eligibility. And I put the fact sheet right there, more information about Colorado Asset. So again, for CASFA students, is if a student is eligible for federal student aid, and that's going to be a student who's a US citizen or an eligible non-citizen, and that eligible non-citizen definition comes from federal student aid, those citizens, eligible non-citizens, they're all going to complete a FAFSA. Everybody else who isn't eligible for federal student aid, they should complete a CASFA if they do have a current visa, right? So their visa isn't expired. That student should still complete a CASFA because they won't be awarded the Colorado Student Grant, but they could be awarded institutional aid, and they can use that SAI to apply for scholarships, need-based scholarships. So again, it's not, students aren't disqualified from completing the application. Their financial aid offices at their colleges or universities may not be able to award them the Colorado Student Grant if they're not Colorado Asset eligible.
Great, thank you for that, Sophie. I have the next question, and I'm down here a little bit. Let me move. There we go. Okay, what are the changes from the 24-25 to the 25-26 FAFSA and CASFA? And what is the best way to educate students and families about FAFSA and CASFA? Just wanted to let you know that we attend weekly meetings with FSA, or Federal Student Aid. They have been great this year with stakeholder feedback. They've been meeting with us, like I said, weekly. And so we tailor these trainings and other trainings that we do around, those most hot items, if you will, that we want to get out to the public. So we suggest, we've also created the toolkit, as Cody had talked about earlier, but we suggest using the toolkit, using the resources that we have on our website. Of course, attend these lunch and learns, and also sign up for our newsletter. We send out a monthly outreach newsletter, which has all of the updates, FAFSA, CASFA, our post-secondary options programs, and others within the Department of Higher Ed. So I will put all these links in the chat. Let me just copy real quick. There we go. Great. And then there is another question in here under the anything you would like us to know. So somebody had put they would like more information on Empower Ed regarding application timelines for the 25-26 school year. So we talked about that a bit earlier. So students, the new 25-26 application will be launching to or March 1st, sorry about that. I was mixing it up with the other one. So for the 25-26, March 1st, the application will launch. And then if students for the spring semester, they just need to finalize their application online, which is open now, by February 14th. And then there was another question. Also, will Empower Ed or Foster Ed programs help to pay for students enrolled in associate's degree at CMU or Ames? Become a pilot, and how funds are allocated, distributed? Who will this program be offered to, and other partner opportunities? So this is, yeah, has several questions in there. So, yes, so Empower Ed will pay for the student's first degree, and Foster Ed will pay for a student's any degree. So we have the eligibility on our website, and I put that in the chat a little bit earlier. So CMU or Ames to become a pilot. I'm not quite sure. I believe those two are eligible institutions that are part of the programs. And then how are funds being allocated, distributed? Who will this program be offered to? And are there other partner opportunities? So as far as Empower Ed, the program is for students who were designated McKinney-Vento while they were in high school in Colorado. And we are working on resources and other partner, I guess, other resources, if you will, that students can use. And we're going to be putting those on our website. So we're working on a list for that. And then how are the funds allocated, distributed? So for Empower Ed, the funds are, the students fill out the application. We do what we need to do on the back end. We send the rosters to the institutions. The institutions do what they need to do on their end, and then they send them back, and then we send the funds to the institution, and then they turn around and distribute the funds to the student. As far as allocation, they do provide, or they do follow the oh gosh, I'm missing the name right now, the budget parameters that are given by the Department of Higher Ed. So they follow those, but I would suggest just checking with the financial aid office at the individual institution. So I hope that answers all the questions there. And I saw another question. Will the Q&A be available with responses for future reference? Yes, we'll make sure to put all those, maybe even this document along with the slide deck. We had talked about it earlier, and perhaps just posting those along with this recording on our website. The CMU, okay, somebody put in, I think the CMU Ames questions may be referencing students in the aviation program at these schools. These are higher cost programs. Okay, yeah. So on our website, we do have the programs that are covered. That I believe you're right, that the aviation program is not an eligible criteria under the program. So we do take into account certain, with people, their recommendations and that sort of thing. So we do capture all these, but we'll definitely look into this. Yeah. All right.
Thanks, Twyla.
Yeah,
Next
go ahead,
one.
Sophie.
The next one is, what is the maximum amount students can receive for CASFA? Is there a breakdown of how much parents earn to how much students can receive? So the first answer is students don't receive anything for CASFA because CASFA is a financial aid application. But then through the CASFA, students, if they're Colorado asset eligible, can, in their low income students, can be awarded the Colorado student grant. So what is the maximum amounts of Colorado student grant CASFA students can receive? That's determined by each institution of higher education. So that depends on how much Colorado Student Grant the institution of higher education is awarded, how many students they're awarding to, and each institution sets their own protocol. So those you're welcome to reach out to the institution of higher education and ask them what is the maximum, and it does of course change every year, or could change every year. In addition, is there a breakdown of how much parents can earn to how much students can earn? So individual IHEs may have breakdowns based on the student's SAI. So the student's SAI is sort of the end number in the formula. And the formula includes parent income, right? So parent income plus a bunch of other things is going to equal SAI. If you know your student's SAI, you could reach out to the IHE and say, hey, if this is my SAI, how much CSG am I likely to receive? Again, this is different at every individual institution of higher education. So if you have specific questions about how much they are awarding, you can reach out to them individually.
Great, thank you, Sophie. I have the next question. Curious about how others are engaging with families often left out or missed in outreach efforts to impact FAFSA completion rates. So with the 25-26 FAFSA FAFSA application, we have on a weekly basis been receiving FSA ID numbers per county in the state of Colorado, and the department has made our awesome IT data folks have made this really neat map. So if you click on the link that I just put in the chat and you scroll down, and maybe I should just share my screen. That might be a little easier. Let me share my screen really quick. Oops. It's not showing.
Maybe try it again, Twyla. I think I was still sharing.
Oh, okay. Let's see. There we go. All right. So I just kind of, all right, can you see this? Okay. So that's the link here, and you just kind of scroll down. Jen, can you see the screen okay? Okay. No?
It went, okay. I think
Can
it's
you
back.
see it?
There you go. Yeah.
Okay, great. So click there, go down here. We have some other information on how students can and families can prepare for the 25-26. And one of those is filling out the FSA ID. So we get the data weekly from the feds, and we have created this great 12th grade FSA ID creation dashboard. So weekly, this is updated, and it kind of shows you in the different counties where they're at with FSA ID creations and students who are in 12th grade. So this is great. Obviously, there are some counties that we don't even have data for yet, but we have been really trying to work with all school districts to get, FAFSA and CASFA completed as well for the 24-25 CASFA, and then we're hoping soon for the 25-26 CASFA, but to get the applications, the FSA ID created and get the applications completed, because we're really trying to increase, FAFSA and CASFA completion. So this is a great resource. I'm going to stop sharing. Okay. Did that stop sharing? I think it did. All right.
It did.
Great. Next. I think that's the end of our questions. Wow. Okay. So we want to kind of open it up for those of you who are online who have any questions. We can see if we can answer those. You can go ahead and go off mute, or you can put them in the chat.
My name is Krista Wallace. I work at Pikes Peak State College. I run the Promise programs here at Pikes Peak. So we work with students who have recently graduated from District 11 or District 2 schools, and they get to come to Pikes Peak essentially for free, depending on that last dollar scholarship based off of their CASFA application. Hello, Cody, it's nice to see you in your new role here. I worked with you at Coronado High School this last fall or last spring semester with Coronado students. So it's nice to see you in this role. So yeah, students have to complete their FAFSA to get this last dollar scholarship, and big concerns with mixed families, like you guys have stated. It seems like the issue might be primarily from newer students who they create those FSA IDs, or like the newer, like seniors coming into college. Is there any worry or concern for continuing students who have to complete the FAFSA again for next year? We had their issues this last year with the button that said right there doesn't have social security number didn't work. So many concerns with that. They filled out paper FAFSAs, those never came through. But do we think that moving forward for those continuing students, they shouldn't face any issues completing their FAFSA for next year?
Yeah, sorry, it took me a minute to find the unmute button there. Yeah, so ideally, all FAFSA experiences are a little cleaner this year, especially for those mixed families. We understand that was definitely a pain point getting them started last year and continuing. The guidance that I have here is, their FSA IDs for those parents and mixed families are created. So to reapply for the FAFSA as a continuing student does not add additional risk. Because those FSA IDs are created already. So I wouldn't have any hesitancy for a returning student to complete the following year's FAFSA. No.
And is there any talk for students maybe completing CASFA over FAFSA if they are like a new incoming student? I kind of heard rumors about that, but I don't know if that's true.
Thanks, Krista. Great question. I will share your ideas and interest with senior leadership at CDHE. And when we'll have an update, we'll be sure to email everyone and post it on our website, etc.
Okay, perfect. And one last question. I took a picture. There was something about getting access to see students who completed their FAFSAs. Is that just for financial aid folks? Because I'm not necessarily, I don't work in financial aid. I just work very closely with my financial aid office. And always just teams chatting like, hey, this is a student completed a FAFSA and completed their CASFA. Is that something that like anybody can get access to, or do you have to be on that like agreement?
Yeah, unfortunately, that is district specific, and then they will assign those who have access at certain levels. So that unfortunately won't be available on your side. I apologize.
That's okay. I will continue with that. That's all. That is all the questions for me. Thank you.
Any more questions? Okay. Well, thank you all for joining us today. We're having our next Lunch and Learn. Oh gosh, I don't have it open. We are going to have our next Lunch and Learn. It's going to be January. And I hope I have it on my calendar. It's going to be January 15th. So we look forward to you all signing up, and we will have our next Lunch and Learn then. Am I missing anything? Sophie, Jen, Cody? We go through everything. I think we went through everything. Oh, here we go. Office hours. So we have the office hours with Cody. He can help with FAFSA. Him and Jen can help with FAFSA. And then Sophie has office hours for CASFA. So you can sign up for those. If you have any students, families, or if you have any questions, you can sign up and we can certainly help you with filling out the FAFSA, answer questions. And I was just looking for the link. Well, I'll put the link in the chat in a minute here. So we can certainly support you there. And I think that's all for today, unless anybody else has questions. Any more questions? No? Oh, thanks, Sophie, for putting that in the chat. Great. All right, thank you all. And we will be sure to post this recording on the website as well as the slide deck and the questions. All right, thank you all and have a great rest of your day. Bye.